Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. This is Chance Kelly, and this is Video Ghoulash. Cheers! Got my Christmas mug, got a little coffee going. So yeah, it's been a few weeks. And as you can see, I'm wearing sunglasses again, so that's still going on. You know, just been dealing with some personal stuff, some personal struggles, some health struggles, some different things like that. I'm gonna shoot and release these videos as much as I can as far as time permits. There's a lot of stuff going on in my world, and I'm probably gonna talk about that a little more on a different video. But just to say, I'm here, I'm still doing stuff, and I will continue. I will absolutely continue. Let's get into South of Sanity candles. Let's get into South of Sanity's Christmas and winter scents. You know, Virgil is an awesome, awesome maker. He's got a knack for combining things and making fragrances that I haven't really smelled anywhere else, honestly. You know, I put his stuff at the top of the heap, which brings me actually to an exciting piece of news, which is this code right here, Virgil 1031. Plug that in at South of Sanity Candles. Get yourself 10% off. This is not a paid promotion. I'm not getting any commissions or anything like that. Just a code for you guys to get 10% off. I really like giving my honest takes on Virgil's stuff, and that's what he wants, honest takes. And he sent me so much stuff to review. This is something I've wanted to do with this channel, which is focus on independent makers, smaller makers, not the bigger guys. I mean, I love Goose Creek and I love Kringle, but they certainly don't need my help at all. I've always wanted to concentrate on the smaller companies and the people out there that are doing amazing things. So I'm actually honored and stoked to be affiliated with South Sanity Candles, because Virgil's an awesome, awesome maker. Now, his stuff always seems to slant spooky. The thing, though, is Virgil's really, really good at putting scents together that don't necessarily fit into that criteria sometimes. I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff's spooky and it's cool, but he can make some absolutely gorgeous stuff that isn't spooky at all. So let's get into the winter and Christmas line, and let's get into, first off, Bah Humbug. Very distressed looking Saint Nick there. That's really nice. It's chilly, smoky and cold. Let's read the notes here. It says, even Santa has a bad day every once in a while. A spooky-ish seasonal offering. The notes are smoky cedar, icy oak moss, and fireplace embers. And yeah, it's smoky and cold. I get the oak moss first, and then the cedar. Pretty balanced note-wise there. And then it's finished off by the embers note. I find this scent really comforting. And you know, it's funny, reading the notes, I wouldn't think that it would slant Christmas, but it does slant Christmas. Yeah, that's really nice. So when you melt Bah Humbug, everything really blooms. Everything becomes so much more prominent and lifts out and lifts up. And you've got this high fragrance load. It's one thing I really enjoy about Virgil and South Sanity stuff is he does a high fragrance load, so you've got great throw and great longevity. As far as the fragrance, it remains largely the same as it does on cold. You've got a chilly, icy oak moss. I would say that's probably center stage for me. And then the smoky cedar is right there, like a strong supporting starch right there behind it. And the embers are just haunting the base, haunting the backdrop. And I'd say the cedar as well is more of the woodland spectrum of cedar. It's not that spicy cedar. I think it's the smoke. I think it's the oak moss. And maybe even the embers that blunt the spicy side of cedar and enrich the more rustic woodland aspect of cedar. The combination is something really awesome. I like it a lot. Spook-wise, Yeah, I think it's, like he said, it's slightly spooky. I'd give it a 2. Seasonally, um, again, I'm kind of surprised that this leans into Christmas as much as it does. I'm going to give it a 7 seasonally. It's a different type of Christmas scent. It may or may not strike Christmas for you. I tell you what, it will strike. It will 100% strike winter for you. It is chilly and 100% a winter scent. The throw, I remember the throw being about an 8. It filled up my room very easily. Again, large rooms, so an 8 is a fantastic throw, especially for a wax melt. Overall, I'm going to give it an 8. I like oak moss scents in general. It's a note I really like, and the chili icy oak moss and smoky cedar blends really well with those embers, and it's striking all the right chords for me, especially for kind of like a creepier side of a Christmas scent. So yeah, I really love it. Next up, we've got Longing for Christmas. I was really excited, especially when I knew this one was coming my way. Oh man. Okay, this is so nice. I'm going to read these notes. Roasted pine cones, vanilla sandalwood, and toasted cinnamon. And this is a really enchanting, gorgeous Christmas scent. The roasted pine cones is a star. The vanilla sandalwood, and then that toasted cinnamon, it really kind of elevates this up. Yeah, see this is what I'm talking about as far as things that aren't necessarily spooky, that are fantastic. When you melt this, all the notes, they really warm up and blend into this super comfortable, snuggly Christmas fragrance. It's so delicious. It's almost gourmand. I mean, that's how delicious this is. It's very much a real spiced pine cone, but not one that you'd find in stores. One that's like homemade. One that would be like homemade in the kitchen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the spiced pine cones that come. They have them in a lot of like giant corporate stores. But if you've ever been to a flea market or an antique market, and you smelled like what a local maker has created with these pine cones, someone might have somebody in their family does it. I know my friend's grandmother used to make these batches of pine cones. They're slanted to Christmas. So you got this roasted pine cone, toasted cinnamon, very authentic. It's a very rustic notes. This is a very authentic smelling wax melt. It's awesome. You've got a slightly ember-like snuggled up Yuletide vibe, but it's not smoky at all. And then you've got this vanilla sandalwood that's sweetening the affair. It's really natural. Softens the bitter end of the spectrum. It enriches the entire experience. The sandalwood also is really natural. And it's a sweeter wood, so it elevates the roasted and toasted aspects while the vanilla provides this creamy kind of appeal. Longing for Christmas it's an engaging kind of homespun Christmas. I'd call it a classic, man. This is a Christmas classic. This kind of scent is something that at least I've connected with Christmas since I was a kid. It makes you feel all warm inside. It's really, truly charming. It's a charming scent. So seasonally, I'm giving this a 10. It's absolutely fantastic. The throw on it, as I recall, was a 9. It was quite strong. Again, high fragrance load. Throws really well. Took a really long time before it burned itself out. A few days actually, and I burned it for a lot of hours. So overall, I guess I'm gonna give this a 10. I think I have to give this a 10. Outside of local makers and like flea and antique markets, or maybe a few grandmothers I've met in the past who've made the real deal roasted cinnamon pine cones, I've never gotten this experience from a candle or a melt before. I actually had never thought of it kind of in a wax form. which is pretty cool, wax format, you know? The experience is kind of like, it's kind of like the best vanilla bean milk cream you've ever smelled, drizzled over an authentic rustic homemade roasted and toasted cinnamon pine cone, where the pine cone is the absolute star. All the notes enhancing. It's fantastic. Up next, we've got Winter Witch. Whew, that is something. What's up, Virgil? Man, like his witch line, if you are not familiar with any South of Sanity stuff, you've got to order something from the witch line. Autumn Witch, Summer Witch, Winter Witch. I think there's a Spring Witch coming too, which I haven't smelled, which, oh my God. But there's something absolutely special about this witch line. Every one of them is a freaking banger. Let's read the notes on this thing. A cool, warm, and sweet pine witchy blend with scent notes of pine resin, guaiac wood, and smoked vanilla bean. All right. Yeah, it's that pine resin. It's deep and spicy. It's rounded out by that guaiac wood. It's finished with a smoky vanilla bean, which is natural vanilla bean does something that beautifies other notes. It's just something special. It's intoxicating. It's gorgeous. Whew. Yeah, Winter Witch, y'all. This thing's awesome. When you melt Winter Witch, the thing that struck me when it warmed up was the pine resin is just gorgeous. This deep, dark, spicy pine resin, and the guaiac wood is beautifying everything. It's velvety. It's kind of like a velvety, smooth concoction. The smoky, slightly smoky, sweet, soft though, gentle vanilla bean, very natural vanilla bean, also beautifies everything. Like I said, it's kind of like a sultry, macabre kind of experience. It's a gorgeous concoction. And something really interesting that I have to add is when I stopped melting it and it cooled off, you've got that lingering. That's the thing I call the lingering. The lingering aroma changed a little bit and got a little darker and a little colder, because this scent is actually a chilly kind of a scent. So spook wise, I think I'm going to give it a 7, spook wise. It does have kind of this macabre, sultry, malice-inducing quality. You know, it's witchy and it's sensual while being foreboding, which at least for me is kind of a scary combination. Alluring doom, right? The doom that you walk into of your own will. Yeah, so to me that's at least a 7 on the spook factor. Seasonally, this has to be a 10. It's winter all the way. You're not getting any other seasonal vibe from this other than winter. I'm not really sure why it feels as chilly and winter evoking as it does, but yeah, it does. It elicits that. I'm really transported by this scent. I mean, you know, when I'm talking seasonally, it's like when I was melting it, I could kind of see the leaf-barren trees and the stark white trunks and the slate, you know, cold sky, and you know, I could feel the bitter bite of that cold, you know, and maybe some flakes of snow drifting down, and I could see this witch, this winter witch with the pale white alabaster skin. It really took me there. So it was cold and seasonally, it's a beautiful thing. The throw on it, I'd say, was a 7. I wish it was stronger, but honestly, I'm sure it can't be any stronger than it is, because again, I know personally, that Virgil's fragrance loads on his stuff are absolutely to the brim. So I think I just love it so much. I just want it to be even more than a 7. But a 7 filled my room. So, you know, it throws well. There's no doubt about that. Overall, no surprise, I'm going to give this a 10. As far as evocative and transportative fragrances go, this thing, I'm going to say something here, maybe a little different, which is actually some of the reasoning why I started this channel to begin with. I'll get into that another time. But this scent sparks my creativity, and it places me dead to rights in like this frigid woodland horror film that I've not written yet. You know, the witch line from South Sanity is something really special. They're all, I think, to me, some of the absolute best witchy, spellbinding sort of incense fragrances of any company I've ever experienced, just ever, bar none. Yeah, I'm going to say that the Winter Witch in particular, though, this one might be my favorite of the witch line so far. And Autumn Witch was awesome, okay? And Summer Witch was also amazing. It's cold, sensual, hell, I'll even say it's erotic almost. It's this witchy fragrance that leans a sort of incense. It's one of those things where the sum of the parts is truly something special. By telling you, oh yeah, you've got pine resin and guaiac wood and you know, smoky vanilla bean. It doesn't really tell the story. It's one of these things that actually the whole line of the whole witch line from South Sanity has, and that's this X factor. I'm telling you, it's absolutely, if you get, you know, just a couple things, you got to get something from the witch line. It's next level. Up next, we've got Chocolate Peppermint Monster. And look at that little dude. What a little creep. It's an awesome label. I dig it. Yeah, that's peppermint and, you know, like a fudgy chocolate. Kind of reminds me of an Andes mint mixed with a York peppermint patty. I'd say really authentic smell here. This is a very authentic fragrance. Yeah, it's really nice. Actually, I'm melting it right now. So on hot, it blooms a little more. The experience is exactly the same, but it's warmed up and stronger, obviously. So the throw on it, I can't give you a throw score because I haven't left the room or done anything. I like to leave the room and kind of see if it's going down the hall and, you know, how long it kind of lingers around and all that kind of stuff. So I can tell you it's at least an 8 because it's filled this room up. So seasonally, Chocolate Peppermint Monster. If you equate chocolate peppermint and Christmas or winter, then it's going to be a 10 for you. I personally don't equate them. I will eat a chocolate mint anytime, baby. Give it to me. So seasonally for me, it's a 0, but like seasonally for you, if you equate chocolate peppermint and Christmas or winter, then that's going to be a 10. Overall, so gourmand scents aren't my favorite. I guess partially because I think a gourmand scent, the strength of a gourmand scent, I think is really on how well it is mimicking the real thing. That's the only way I can think of to score something. Whether or not it elicits memory in you or something is sort of like kind of an extra icing on the cake, as it were, for gourmand scents. Overall, I'll give it a 10 because it's absolutely authentic smelling. It smells like chocolate fudge mint and peppermint. It's exactly what it says it is. And not only is it what it says it is, it's not, it's atypical in that it isn't an Andes mint. It's not a York peppermint patty. At most for me, it smells like homemade fudge. It smells like its own thing. as opposed to smelling just like, you know, a brand name or something. So that's why I've got to give it a 10. It's an authentic, homespun, rich peppermint chocolate flavor. Last, but certainly not least, Krampus. Krampus. Why do I have two? I have an early mix that's just a little bit different from the one that was released. So I'm actually going to compare and contrast these two. Let's read the notes. Krampus has been working all night. He sets his birch switches that are nestled in a leather satchel next to the smoldering fireplace. He can now take a much-needed rest from, you know, switching kids and throwing them in a burlap sack and sucking out their bone marrow. Don't be naughty. So the notes are just a little bit different. There's actually only one difference between the early mix and the mix that's up right now. So the notes are charred birch, bayberry, dark clove, and a touch of leather. And the early mix, the only difference is it has a little bit of orange in it. So I'm going to start by talking about the early mix. We'll just take the journey with Krampus as a fragrance. And what you're getting is that beautiful birch, this orange that's lifting everything up. The dark clove is there, and a gorgeous bayberry. It's a really fresh, invigorating smelling fragrance. And that's a faint whisper of leather at the end. If you like leather fragrances, you'll notice it, but it's way back in the mix. It's really an enhancing note, and it's absolutely perfect in this. When you burn this, there's an amazing, kind of rich, rustic, true birch that comes out. It blooms. The light, sweet orange lifts everything and just brightens everything a little bit. And then there's that subtle tang, that gorgeous, sappy bayberry, and the smoky clove going on, and that back end of faint leather. It really is something special. It's something gorgeous. It almost makes fresh air seem fresher. There was a couple times that I was melting this, and I opened my window over here, and it made fresh air fresher, which is wild, like wild. And it made it a little more crisp and a little more chilly. So, spooky on the early mix, 0. I'm sure is reformulated, possibly because it's not spooky at all. Like, it's too damn beautiful. It's, you know, it's absolutely gorgeous. And Krampus is spooky. Should be creepy. So seasonally, you know, the early mix is an 8. Absolutely kind of a late fall through winter fragrance. The orange and the clove give it a touch of that late fall, but it's really a chilly winter fragrance. You got that bayberry and the birch. It's a wonderful combination. Strikes home. So seasonally it's an 8. Like the throw on, it's like a 10. It's a total 10. And the performance of it as well, it's 10. The longevity overall, I'm gonna say this is a 10 for me. I'm in love with it. It's probably my favorite birch rooted fragrance that I've ever smelled. It's this it's like, how to explain it? It's like an incredible outdoor sort of experience. It's fresh, it's quietly invigorating, it's a tad chilly. It's what I'd call like the essence of a natural, real open air. What's the word I'm looking for? Campestral. That's the word I'm looking for. It's yeah, like a natural, real open air campestral scent. Virgil, you gotta do something with this formula in particular. It's absolutely freaking awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. Which is secondarily to say, overall, as a Krampus scent, something that I would put the name Krampus on, no, not at all. It's just, it's way too damn beautiful. So let's move on to the one that's out. And it's crisp and frigid and woodland. Without the orange, it's almost like the clove and bayberry are a little more prominent. It's a dark clove because it's kind of smoky, and that hint of leather is still there in the absolute perfect amount. It's beautiful. It's I melted this one too because I really wanted to compare these two. And it's, you got the slightly charred birch and the bayberry with the dark clove, and there's that whisper of leather that makes this kind of perfect natural woodland fragrance. And the leather's just given kind of like a tip of the hat right there at the end. It's absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately for me, on the spook factor, the Krampus is still at a 0. It's just not spooky for me. It's absolutely beautiful, but not spooky. Seasonally, so given the absence of the orange from the early mix, it's not fall at all. Seasonally, as a winter scent, it's definitely a 10. It's fully into winter. As a Christmas scent, no, not for me. I don't think so. But as a winter scent, that's a 10. The throw on it is still a 10. The longevity, the performance, it's all remains the same. It's just high quality. South of Sanity is always going to give you high quality and super high fragrance load. Overall, like for me, the scent itself overall is an 8. I like it better with the orange in it. Like I said, it remains sort of chilly and open air and campestral, and I love that. Without the orange lifting it, though, it loses a little bit of something. But this is Krampus. So to me, it's supposed to lean creepy. So the 8 score reflects that. I think that this needs something like musk or embers or something that evokes a spookier vibe. Because this is a fantastic, fantastic mix. But does it scream Krampus? To me, not as much. I wouldn't say so. So that's what I've got for you today. Again, Virgil 1031. You want to try any of these scents, anything else, you're going to get 10% off your order. Just plug that code in. Just want to thank Virgil for sending me all of this stuff, and for just being a part of the process. Is really cool to give my feedback, because I truly believe that he is one of the best makers. I think it's only a matter of time before his company blows up and gets even bigger. He's got such a knack for putting fragrances together, and of course we like the spooky all year long, and he's got that going for him too. But he also makes some absolutely gorgeous, incredible, complex, and some simple too that aren't. He's got a new fragrance right now. It's called Dark Honey. I'm guessing the notes. I just remember it being like raw honey and dark patchouli or something like that. And it goes to show you that things don't have to be incredibly complex to be amazing. That thing is awesome. I have a tester of it here, as well as a couple other things that he's working on. And just honored and enjoying giving my feedback, my honest feedback on everything. And I'm hoping you guys go check out South Sanity. You know, I've seen a lot of sales going on, yada yada, spending a bunch of money at Bath and Body Works. Not me. I would much rather spend my money at South Sanity or any other company, you know, Lunar Light Company, Witch City Wicks, you know, any of those people that are just absolutely top-notch makers. At any rate, I hope to see you soon. Keep it creepy. Smell you later.